now plugged into the Social Plug Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? I am Johnny Martinez, and you are plugged in to the Social Plug Podcast, where we connect you to level up and where we discuss ordinary people doing extraordinary things. We are always powered by Social Plug Media, and today we're in the Greenleaf studio at Greenleaf Health and Wellness in New Braunfels, Texas, the beautiful and lovely New Braunfels, Texas. And I got this man behind the scenes, J-Rock.
What is up, man?
He's got the Undertaker shirt on today.
Oh, yeah, we got the Undertaker today. I don't know why I don't know. I just felt like I needed a long sleeve today. I didn't want to wear a jacket, so I had to go with the Undertaker today.
Well, you're covering up those guns.
I know.
Scaring everybody off, man.
Unfortunately, I am. Yep.
They're registered weapons.
I love it. Heck yeah.
Are you feeling motivated today?
I am feeling motivated, man. Actually, I've been I just been really motivated as of late. Not only because of guests that we always have on as well, because we have many guests that motivate us, but I've been getting back in the gym and just kind of trying to find some motivation through that and getting some confidence, man. So, but either way, I'm feeling a little bit extra motivated today as well.
Well, J-Rock, you're in for a treat. You're going to be very motivated today. We got a motivational speaker.
All right.
We got a mindset coach and all kinds of stuff. So before I introduce him, he's also sponsoring the show today.
Oh, nice.
He's sponsoring this episode.
Oh, he's doing it right.
He's doing it right. So his name is Yitzchak Knock Knock Pierson. Is that like a tongue twister? Yitzchak Knock Knock is his middle name, or not really his middle name. It's his nickname.
Okay.
Last name Pierson. So this guy, like I said, he's a beast, man. He does a lot of things here in the New Braunfels community and beyond, and I can't wait to introduce him. But you can find him on his website at yitzchakpierson.com, and it's YITZCHAK and then PIERSON.com.
Say that again.
YitzchakPierson.com. Yitzchak. And I'm going to find out.
I'm going to have to do
I'm going to find out, you know, how
he knows that we joke around, right? Because just his middle name alone, I was about to say, who's there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Knock, knock, who's there? So it's kind of I don't know if a gimmick is the right word, but people always remember.
Oh, bro,
that's knock, knock.
I would run with this name if I had it, bro.
Yeah.
That would be his wrestling name would be amazing.
So I want to point out this man right here, and we can show him. Look at this man here.
Knock, knock.
Knock, knock. Who's
Sorry,
there?
bro.
This man's here. He's a realtor. He's a mentor, a mindset and performance coach.
I love it.
And he's also an author, man. He's got a book coming out on November 15th, which is today.
Today? Oh,
All
congratulations, my brother.
And his book is very motivating. It's called Open Doors with an exclamation point. A proven guide for reaching your highest potential and achieving your dreams. So we can't wait to get into that.
Yeah.
All right, so would you rather have me call you Yitzchak or Knock Knock?
Either way. I mean, Knock Knock Yitzchak is came up with that to help people be able to pronounce the name a little bit better. So Yitzchak or Yitz.
Yitz.
Yeah, Yitz.
J-Rock, what's your nickname? You got a nickname?
J-Rock.
Well,
They used to call
besides
me-
that.
Okay,
Because I look at you as J-Rock as your real name.
Yeah, no, yeah, a lot of people say that. I was gonna change my name.
Is
My
it
mom
on your
made that
birth
name.
certificate, J-Rock?
Okay, look, here's a little backstory. I was about to change my name. This is in my wrestling years, and some people told me they might have found it a little disrespectful that I would have changed my name, but I was gonna literally change my name by law, Justin J. Rock Castillo.
Right.
Yeah, but no, not legal at all. I wish it was on the birth certificate. Would have been a lot cooler. It would better than knock. I mean, knock knock sounds a lot better.
Yeah.
Anyway,
My full name is Yitzchak Stanislaus Pierson. That's what's on my birth certificate. So
Stanislaus.
Stanislaus, yeah, it's a Polish middle name.
So are you Polish?
No, so the name, my dad liked the name
where's this coming from?
Yitzchak. We were staying with a guy who was Polish, and his name was Stanislaus Petrowski, and that's how my dad found out about the first name. So then chose to name my middle name Stanislaus. So I just got
That's
a
so
little bit
crazy.
of everything, and then I'm actually half Mexican, so I'm not Hebrew, Polish, and then Pierson is Greek origin.
So there's no Lopez or Hernandez anywhere in your name.
Garza is my mom's
Garza.
maiden name. Yep.
You don't look like a Garza, man.
No, most people wouldn't be able to tell. I get a lot that I look like Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo
Yeah,
Alvarez.
there you
Yeah,
go. Canelo.
Yeah, you put on some boxing gloves, take off the shirt, and
I've actually had people like take pictures with me,
Yeah.
out and
Canelo.
about. Most of them, they just wanted to take pictures to show people that they met Canelo.
Oh, that's hilarious, man. All right, so I got to ask, bro, like growing up, what kind of jokes did you get? People make fun of your name.
Well,
What's going on?
fortunately, I didn't really have that part of my story as I was homeschooled, so I didn't ever have to deal with any of that going into school. My sisters, I have 4 sisters, and so they all had different ways. Little kids say
Yeah.
it differently, but yep, never really had to deal with it. After I got into the manufacturing industry when I was younger, working with a bunch of guys in a warehouse, they all had different nicknames.
They had a couple
and,
nicknames, right?
I've had all types of stuff over the years.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I'd have a blast with your name, by the way. I mean, I'm going to be as professional as we can today, but.
We're always professional, J-Rock. What are you talking about?
Hell no.
As
What are you
professional as
talking
we
about?
can.
No, just playing. As professional as we can. I love it.
So, knock, knock, Yitzchak. You got a lot of titles in your resume, man. I just scratched the surface on it. I just picked out 4. Author, realtor, mentor, and a mindset and performance coach. You got a whole bunch of others. You're a certified instructor. You got all these things going on, man. So before I take a deep dive into your story and behind the scenes, out of all these titles and positions, which one do you mostly cherish and mostly introduce yourself as?
I was thinking about that. I just like to be a good role model, and that's like the title that I think that makes the most sense to me, is just being a good role model. We've got a lot of labels, and that's something that I've had to when we do networking or anything, you usually ask somebody what they do, and we all define ourselves by those titles usually of what our profession is, but ultimately I just like to be a good role model, be inspiring to others, and
Providing value.
yeah.
Where did that come from, buddy? Where did you feel that drive to want to be that person?
It wasn't until the last few years. I've changed my life a lot over the last few years, and I just wanted to be that person for somebody else. I've had a lot of good role models and mentors in my life, and I wanted to be able to pay it forward, essentially, to help other people on their journey.
Nice. So like myself, I don't physically get to be in front of some of my role models, like Gary Vee, Jay Shetty, who I listen to on a daily. Who is there anybody that you would consider that in your in your realm?
Ed Milet, he's the number one person that I've listened to for like the last 6 years.
Okay.
And then Andy Frisella, another guy named Tom Bilyeu, and Lewis Howes. Like I listen to their podcast. And then Brendan Burchard. I'm actually certified with him and reading his book and listening to him. He has a book called High Performance Habits, and that really resonated with me. And I incorporated a lot of those habits and things that I learned from his book into my life. To get me to the current level that I'm at right now.
Are you like one of those persons that you kind of do the same thing every day, just kind of stay on task?
Yeah, I have routines and habits that help keep me on track. I'm actually on day 632 of working out every single day, twice a day, and that started with 75 Hard, which Andy Frisella from First Form created that program, and I had switched careers, and I had been wanting to do that program for a while, but I worked in manufacturing and woke up really early anyway, and so getting 2 workouts in a day was more difficult when I was doing manufacturing. So once I switched into real estate and I had no excuses, I was feeling myself slacking a little bit on my routine, sleeping in a little bit later than I wanted to. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to go for it and do 75 Hard. And I got a lot better at time management, the reading, like all of the different activities within that program. I just saw the benefits in my life, and I kept going with it for 6 months. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm not going to keep up all the habits, but the reading every day and the 2 workouts every day just keep me more disciplined and keep me on track. And I listen to podcasts and audiobooks every day as well.
Yeah.
Dude, that's intense,
awesome,
man. So J-Rock and I are on day 975 of eating a taco every day.
I like tacos too. That's part of the reason I work out so much, is so I can eat whatever I want. Yeah.
So that's pretty intense. And it's not only intense, the consistency and the motivation comes and goes. It's an ebb and flow every day, right? But the consistency and the commitment to doing that every single day. I know you've had shitty days.
Yeah.
I know you've had days where you're like, man, okay, day 422 is enough. That's
Yeah.
quite an accomplishment. But you're now on 672.
632.
632.
Yeah.
So tomorrow will be 633.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter how shitty you get up
Yeah.
and you feel, you're going to get out there and get it.
And
Yeah.
I would even think, as much as you're working out, you probably don't ever really feel shitty, right?
No,
know?
not really. I get some allergies occasionally. I got a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Today was one of those days where I didn't want to get up, but I'm not good about it. I usually wake up at 4:30 a.m. every day during the week, and I'm at the gym by 5. But today I try and listen to my body too when I need some rest. Like I slept until like 6:30 this morning, and then went and got in my workout, and then went and jogged 4 miles. So that's just
Would you?
it's a standard. It's that's my standard every day now. My day is not complete without it.
Would you? Okay, so right now, would you consider? Do you mentor people, or and you said you want to be a role model?
Mm-hmm.
So do you mentor people now?
Yeah.
Okay, so like let's use me right now. Okay, I know all these things. So how would you say? How can I put that into obviously planning and stuff? Probably somebody like myself thinking that someone that works out that many days, like, how's your recovery, man? Like somebody like me, like I'm fucking sore right now. I've been working out. I'm on day 5 right now, back to back. I'm supposed to take a day off on Thursday for recovery. So somebody like yourself, what would you say? Like, how's recovery? How do I get through that? How do I get through that mentally?
It's taken me 12 years to get to this point of consistency. I used to be 250 pounds at my heaviest, and I've been down to 170 pounds at my lowest. Wow. And I used to try and just like go on a diet and, lose a certain amount of weight. And then over the years, I'd yo-yo up and down in my weight, and I would, my mindset had to shift from that I was just going to go on a diet and hit this one goal, and then I went back to my old ways. So I changed it to like form healthy habits for my future self, and I focused on the small habits repeated daily. Like I wasn't going to go be a bodybuilder. I realized, wasn't going to fulfill me. I've tried that, I've hurt myself. I've been out of commission for certain injuries. So like my goals now are to be working out in my 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And I don't like try and just kill myself in the gym. It's more of getting there every day and moving my body. So I do weightlifting. Yeah. I do cycling, and I read a book, and then I do weightlifting, but it's not like the same kind that I would be doing if I was training for a competition or something. It's just moving my body every day, and I'm more focused on that. So for what I try and tell people who are looking to lose some weight, it's not that you're just going to go in there and you're going to
full max.
Yeah, you're not going to do what I'm
speed.
doing now. This is 12 years of working myself up to this point. But it's like I tell people, like, go in 3 days a week. Make that your goal. Is all right. 3 days a week. I'm in there. I've heard just driving to the gym, 3 days a week, going in, sitting down. It depends on the person and where they're at in their physical health journey. Yeah. But people will try and go balls to the wall and then get burnt out, or they'll get super sore and then they'll get discouraged. And I try and tell people consistency over the long term. Form the habit for your future self of going to the gym every day and living a healthy, active lifestyle, rather than just thinking it's going to happen overnight. Because if you want to have lasting change, it has to be for the rest of your life. If you can't sustain it for the rest of your life, then don't start with it. Okay.
Yeah, and I think a big part of is, like you said, just doing it and kind of just finding some type of routine in a way. Man, I love I coach, and the basketball aspect of it was I used to love going to practice. Like the games were great. Yeah. But man, the practices were awesome, I thought. You know what I mean? And when we got to the game, it was like I would get some playing time, and after a while I got really good. But after a while, man, just realizing like the practice is what really creates everything. Yeah. You know, so the practice is getting to the gym, the practice is eating, practice is doing that stuff. So
It's the mindset. You got to have a good
definitely.
mindset.
Yeah, kind of like focus on the process, not the destination.
Correct,
It's like you gotta, the journey is where it's at. There's studies out there. Dr. Andrew Huberman, he talks about the studies that have been done on the actual pursuit of the goal. You get more fulfillment out of the pursuit instead of like a lot of times people will accomplish the goal and they won't feel fulfillment when they missed it all through the journey. Like, so that's kind of what I try and focus on is like, I'm always going to be learning. It's a marathon, or you know, it's not gonna just we're gonna get to this destination and then it's all of our life goals are gonna be accomplished. It's no, you get to this destination and then there's always gonna be something else. There's always gonna be another hurdle or something more that you want out of life. That next level of success that you're looking for.
So I'm kind of trying to teach my buddy right now. He lost 100 pounds in like I think a little over a year. And he's kind of gotten, you know, back to his normal ways in a way of getting comfortable, right? And he's just like, bro, I don't want to get back into the gym. I don't want to go back to being that person. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, dude, I had to starve myself. I'm like, bro, it's not even about that. It's just like, just get in the gym. Let's just go and just keep it going every day. Yeah, skip a day or two, whatever, but just keep the process going. You like, when we were younger, I think we were like early 20s. Like, he can almost kill. I mean, I really felt like he almost killed himself because every day I would see him, he's like dropping like 10, 15 pounds. I felt like he really wasn't.
That's not healthy.
But it's not healthy.
And I've done it that way too. I've done different weight loss competitions where I lost 30 pounds in 30 days. And, you know, it was eating just chicken and fish and veggies and working out, you know, cycling and jogging every day. And it's just not sustainable. So it's like you have to change your patterns and your routines in order to have a sustainable health throughout your life. And that's what I'm more focused on now is like preventative and like regenerative medicines and like practices that will help keep me going, like optimizing my life. I work out like every day. I don't kill myself, but how can I get better? Like, how can I eat healthier? That's one area. I like sweets. So, you know, sweets is my a weakness there. So I'll eat desserts, and, you know, that's the one area that I can improve on. I've got the consistency down of getting up. No matter how I feel, I'm going to go get in the gym. But I can always do better. You know, there's ways that I can improve on health and daily practices, you know, that will make I'll get more fulfillment out of life.
What's your bad snack, Johnny? What would you say? What's a snack that you do?
Oh man, you know those little they're chocolate little rolls with white inside, and it's not the
Hey, calm down.
hey, it's a family show there, J-Rock.
Sorry.
It's little like Sweet Debbie's or Little Debbie's.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
Man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Today's a family show there, J-Rock.
Mine's a snowball, man. I love the snowballs.
Yeah.
The coconut with the marshmallow on top, the cake in the middle, cream in the middle too. Man, those bad boys will get me, man.
Yeah, I like ice cream. Ice cream and
ice cream?
like cake and cookies.
What's your favorite flavor?
I when I was younger, I never tried the cookie flavors. I like some of the cookie dough flavors now, and like strawberry
Cookies and cream,
cheesecake.
brother.
Yeah, HEB has some of those their
dude.
brand that are just like red velvet cheesecake,
so
like out of the
great.
normal. Pralines and pecan, like, you know.
I love
stuff.
Bluebell ice cream.
Yeah, Bluebell's good.
It sucked when they almost went out of business, and then they rejuvenated. I don't know what happened behind the scenes.
Yeah, what did
But
happen with that, man?
They
saved it.
They saved
they
it, right?
rehashed and they fixed it. So
I'm a Rocky Roads kind of guy.
Rocky Roads.
Oh yeah. What about you? What do you kind of ice cream like?
I just said it. Cookies and cream.
Oh, cookies and cream. I'm sorry.
Cookies and cream. Bluebell.
Bluebell.
That's my go-to. But Yitzchak, I've known you for a couple of years now, man. So you've always been in the community, and I would say before when I first met you, you were an average guy. You were part of the community, right? But something happened within the past couple of years since I've known you. You have become so active and visible in the community. Now you have all these titles that you didn't have a couple of years ago. All right? You lost the weight. Great story. Great comeback. You're on top. But now you are part of these organizations, and you're speaking, and you're teaching realtors stuff, and you're doing all these things. You're an author. What the hell happened, man? Some light bulb flipped, or I just missed it. I don't know if I missed it or something happened. Explain to me.
the first thing that comes to mind is I just realized the reality of mortality, how short life is. I did a lot I was on a certain path and I changed that path. And then as I've gotten into this and networked with other business owners, other realtors, I just felt obligated to do more, to have a bigger impact. I was very grateful for the people who have helped me along the way and the mentors that I've had. But yeah, it was just...
Is it just being around these influential people?
Yeah, being
and you
around
just
the people in our community.
It became contagious?
Yeah, contagious, and getting in bigger rooms, getting around, it's all about your environment and the people you surround yourself with. Like I've gone to a lot of conferences with my real estate brokerage where there's been speakers. I've gone to Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within, and at these real estate conferences, it blew the ceiling off of what I believed was possible. There's so much more to life than our little circle, our little environment that we, put ourselves in. And so I just work to grow my circle, grow the people that I hang out with, and I've been fortunate to get mentored by some really great, influential people, and I just wanted to have a bigger impact than what my original goals were. I knew when I switched careers that opportunities would open up and present themselves,
right.
And I've really worked to capitalize on those opportunities and say yes to things that align with my overall vision and mission, and then say no to things that don't align with that.
So we're both in agreement that everybody has the opportunity to be successful.
Yes.
But you got to create it, or you got to find it.
Yeah.
Because the opportunities are everywhere. But why are certain people taking the initiative to build these opportunities, and some aren't? What do you think? Where's the disconnect?
I mean, fear and comfortability. When I worked in manufacturing, I saw a lot of people that were just so comfortable where they were at, even though they were miserable, and it was, they were negative people, but they didn't want to put in the effort to make the change, to get out of their comfort zone. So that was one thing that I saw. I was like, there was people who had been there 20, 30 years, and I was like, I don't want to be like those people, and I knew I would have to do things that made me uncomfortable. So the more I've faced my fears and done things that get me out of my comfort zone, then the more positive results, the more opportunities presented themselves. With this book deal, like that was as a product of me getting more into social media and like making videos. The publisher reached out to me on Instagram, and that's how the book sort of came to fruition.
Right, surrounding yourself with people and being active and visible.
Yes, yeah.
Really changed the game for you. So, personal brand, man. How important is personal brand in life and in business?
It's very important. That was one of the first things that I worked with a coach when I switched careers. It was getting into my brand colors, fonts, just like on a granular level, looking at that. But as over the years, my brand has evolved into where I would say now people who see me know that I'm more community oriented, I'm more educational, and some would say inspiring. And that's what I want to be. I want to inspire other people to take those chances, to, really go for it. Like I said, life is short. Like we're Rob Dyrdek, he's from Ridiculousness. He's super analytical, and he has a life optimization tracker. He's like tracks everything that he does in his life, and he's has a goal to live to a certain year. I think he wants to live to 114 years. So one of the things that I did this last year was like I calculated, okay, if I want to live to 100 years, and this can be scary to some people. Some people don't want to hear this, but like I calculated how much time I've been alive. If I sleep an average of 7 hours a night, okay, and I live to be, I'm 31, so I've got, 69 years left in my life. I calculated I have like 49 years left alive and awake. And so really using the time that I have and being present, focusing on the relationships with my family and friends, and being very intentional with the time that I have left here on earth, and making a greater impact.
So I love that. So let me ask you this.
That's pretty deep.
You're deliberate in the way you live and your time. So I know you have a routine every day. Go
Yeah.
to the gym, eat a certain way. So let me ask you this. With that routine, do you take risks and kind of pivot a little bit? Like, what would keep you from going to the gym? Is there anything in there besides some kind of life-altering event? But is being on a routine good versus being sporadic but still getting shit done, not on a routine? Does that kind of make sense what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I feel like
Taking risks.
I feel like being on a routine gives me freedom, like to have flexibility, because I've done this so long that I know if like I have an event that goes late, then I can sleep in a couple hours. I like getting my sleep, so if I stay up 2 hours later than normal, I'll sleep in 2 hours later and still go to the gym. Like I look at my schedule and I'm very intentional with, all right, I have flexibility here, but it still allows me to take risks and do things that are out of the normal and
Autonomy.
enjoy the times, because it's like if we're not able to enjoy what we're doing, if we're just so strict and structured that we like say no to everything, then there's no joy in that. So like I do like if I have something come up, I'll rearrange my schedule, but I know that I'm still going to go get my outs in that day.
Because you probably put your schedule in blocks. I got 3 hours flex time here, 4 hours flex time here, but the gym is definitely a mainstay.
It's going to get
here
done.
and all these different things.
So far, I think about that when what will happen. I don't like talk. It would take me getting like sick or something for me not to go, but I've still. I'm going to go until I don't go, but I'm not going to let that, whenever that streak does end, I'm not going to let it like derail me. It's just going to be like, all right, I didn't get today in, I'm just going to go back to tomorrow and start over.
Do you remember that movie Over the Top?
I don't
Sylvester
think,
Stallone?
I don't think
where he's the arm wrestler.
Oh
and
yeah,
he's working out.
yeah. I remember that one.
You can still work out and they're in your vehicle with that pull down.
Yeah, you don't hear too many athletes or people that work out a lot. They don't hear a lot of them getting sick. As long as they're taking their vitamins and doing all that, you've been good. And I've been listening to Joe Rogan for years, so he's kind of been like the guy that you kind of hear every day. He's taking his vitamins, other than Hulk Hogan. Ooh, yeah,
same prayers and vitamins. Yeah,
that's right. Same prayers and vitamins. But I've kind of done that, and I caught COVID.
Yeah,
but and it took it didn't take me out as much obviously like other people, but I jumped up pretty quick. And then also just like I hardly ever get sick. But again, just taking vitamins.
Yeah.
Trying to keep that body.
Well, I think just sunlight, going outside.
That too,
think about how many people
D.
don't get outside, and so it's been. I've been outside for an hour every single day for the last 632 days. So breathing, like the jogging makes you breathe more. So just getting more oxygenated and getting like sunlight, like so many people live through their life, it's just indoors.
Yeah.
So you're like the David Goggins of this area. Either that or Forrest Gump, because Forrest Gump kept on running.
I don't see him
so you do a lot of running.
Yeah, I do. I mix it in with cycling. Like I have a mountain bike, and I'll like cycle outside on days, because cycling is a little bit easier in my opinion than the jogging. Jogging really, you feel every second of it, and you're out there. But it's I enjoy it now. But when I first started jogging, I couldn't jog a mile. And now the fact that
you were 250 pounds.
Yeah. I would walk.
It makes it harder.
Drink a bottle of water.
Yeah, I feel like that right now, bro. Like I try to go running, and I don't know what it is. It's definitely a mental thing though. Because when I play ball, I can move. I can go up and down the court. Like I played ball pretty good yesterday. When you ask me to go for a jog and a run on the street, like it's something about all that kind of jacks my ankles and my knees up too. And I've noticed that in a lot of runners. That was my next question: whether you run so much, like, has that affect your knees, your hips, your ankles?
It used to. Like when I did mountain biking, I had some injuries. I used to go. I did like a 24-hour mountain bike race for my 21st birthday, like a relay race, and we were training at some trails in San Marcos like 5-6 days a week. And I had more injuries from mountain biking, and so then I had like a fracture in my knee at one point, and it took a couple years for that to heal. But with everything that I've done, just consistently, like all my joints and everything feel pretty well. I take some supplements now, like some magnesium and zinc and some other stuff. I've done this test with a guy named Gary Brecka, who is with 10X Health with Grant Cardone. They have a whole health section of their business now where they'll do like a genetic test, take a swab, and see what you're deficient in, and then send you like some pills. So I've been taking those about 4 or 5 months, and just whatever it said my body was deficient of. And so I've been feeling better results, but I just listen to my body, and like I'm more focused on the consistency over the long term than just like going hard every day.
Yeah, every day. Hey, do you know who Dana White is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who, do you,
Yeah. So Gary Brecka is with Dana White.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's who I was gonna ask. That's who Gary Brecka is. So
Yeah.
he was on Joe Rogan's podcast too, and I need to finish listening to that. But to hear the shit that he says, man, that's an eye opener, man.
Yeah.
It's great shit.
I've been fortunate to see him multiple times speak in person at some of our real estate events, and he talks a lot about just getting the like 5 things you need is the oxygen, breathing. He does the breathing every day, and then the sunlight. He does the grounding is the one that I like makes sense to me, where you just go outside with like barefooted, because we all wear shoes, we all have concrete, like it makes sense that you would we were born without shoes and we wear them all the time.
It's almost like our body, people forget the fucking caveman. And I think about that a lot in ways like, and obviously I'm not the most in shape guy, but I think about those things. So I go sit on my patio when it's, or I try to walk with the dog outside, things like that. But you got to remember, like, humans weren't supposed to eat McDonald's.
No.
Humans weren't supposed to be wearing certain clothes. Again, shoes.
Yeah.
Don't walk around naked there, J-Rock. Don't walk.
Hey, man.
Don't do it.
Right? But that's literally what that is, And I think that's what people need to almost go back and remember. Like, we were eating fruits. We were eating, natural foods.
Yeah, everything we have
raw
now is so
meat.
processed.
People are like, "Ooh, why do I feel this way?" Well, drop some of that and put some greens in you. You know what I mean?
Hey, was there alcohol back in the caveman days? Maybe.
I don't know.
No, they probably took some berries and let them spoil for a little bit, and then tried them. They're like, I feel a little weird off of these berries.
Figured out the hard way.
So, Yitzchak, earlier you mentioned overcoming your fears, right? And you overcame your fears. What did you fear at that point that you overcame?
So, fears or self-limiting beliefs, they kind of go hand in hand. I was homeschooled, so part of my story is that I was raised in a religious cult, is the easiest way to describe it. I didn't have a birth certificate or a social security number. We were home births, me and my sisters.
Is it like the David Koresh type?
A little bit, yeah. I've watched the documentary, and there's a lot of similarities to the way that I was raised.
That was at the Branch
Davidians in Waco. Yeah.
Wait. Is this one of the newer ones that just came out?
No, this happened like in the 80s.
Yeah, that was in like the 80s or something, and they've made a couple documentaries about it in the recent years.
Oh, really? I need to check this out. Okay.
Yeah. So my dad was the leader, and he didn't want us involved in the government. He kept us out of the system. I didn't, we were homeschooled. We never went to the doctor or anything like that. So at an early age, he had us start working. We had multiple businesses, a construction company and furniture and pottery and wrought iron import business, a farm. We had like acreage. And so we were always working from a young age. That's the one thing that I always knew how to do. But it was mostly manual labor jobs, like the construction, all of that.
That's why you have a good work ethic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I acknowledge, I wouldn't change, the way that I was raised and everything, because it made me who I am today. But, I only did school till the 7th grade. Like my dad had me working full time at 13. I was working down in Laredo in a pottery and wrought iron yard, and we had a construction company, all these things. So I was like, I just quit school. I was like, I'm not gonna keep doing school in my spare time. I was working like 7 days a week, and my dad didn't really like say anything about it. Because we were making money for the family businesses. So
were you making money or your dad making money?
My dad was making money. Okay. Yeah, he didn't really. He said, a roof over your head and food on the table is payment enough. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So, I quit school in 7th grade, so I had these, fears and limiting beliefs that I couldn't do anything else. College was never an option for me, anything like that.
You never had a childhood, man.
Yeah, I didn't really know. I didn't have anything that I specifically wanted to do in life. My dreams growing up as a kid was just to have a normal life. Like I was like, but without a birth certificate or social, you can't really go do much. You can't go get a job. You can't go out on your own unless you're like an illegal immigrant or, taking money under the table type thing. So,
holy shit, this is crazy.
Fortunately, my mom finally left when I was, or she left the group and kind of went out on her own and wanted to help us as kids have a normal life. So she helped us get our birth certificates and social security numbers. And then,
how old were you here at this time?
I didn't get my birth certificate or social until I turned 18.
How deep can we get in this conversation?
Yeah,
we can go deep. Yeah,
I got a lot of questions. Bro.
Right.
Okay, hold on. Let's go back. So, what was a normal life to you then, as a kid? Like you're thinking, man, I want to live this normal life. Like, what's a normal life to you? What were you seeing this?
Just like working a normal job, like 9 to 5, having a car, having my own place, getting to make my own choices. Because
where did you see this though? If you
movies,
okay,
he let us watch movies, but he let us watch movies to show how bad the world was. When we would watch a movie, he would be like, "See, this is what I'm trying to keep y'all away from. This is what I'm trying to save y'all from." Yeah, so it was weird. He ultimately after I've been an adult and I've looked more into him and talked to he has narcissistic personality disorder. If you look up the symptoms for that, it describes him. And a lot of religious leaders and cult leaders have that. And then you combine it with religion, they have this false sense of self where they think that they are, like he thought it was God and then him and nobody else in the world was above that.
Is this legal at all? Like for you to do this?
At the time, it might have been.
It
evolved
wasn't
into
necessarily because he kept us. He didn't want people to know. He was very aware that we could get in trouble if people found out. So he groomed us what to say, what not to say when we went out in public, not letting people know. My parents got divorced and he kept us off of the divorce papers. He never filed taxes on us, never got any of the deductions you could get for kids.
So there was didn't really even exist.
No. If we had, I always wondered about that. If we had died or something, what would... there was no existence of us. Somebody called it when I first got out into the real world. Somebody said that I was like, "Oh, so I heard you were a ghost child," and I was like, I didn't know what that was, but I guess that's a term for children who grow up out of the system and different religious cults and religious groups. It's more prevalent than you would think. You hear about it in the news occasionally, but the more I talk about it, the more I meet people who have, different varying degrees of religious trauma that, where they were, preachers' kids or one. And that was where we are kept so sheltered when you get out and nobody is telling you what you can or can't do. Yeah. Most kids go, off the deep end, and that definitely was kind of what I did too.
So you were always raised with the mindset that the rapture's coming or something is coming.
Yeah, it was life or death, angels and demons every day, judgment, words. I've realized words then have different meaning than they do now. Discipline was like God's discipline, compared to what discipline is to me now. Judgment, it was wrath and brimstone, like Old Testament type stuff. So it was like if we didn't respect him, we got disciplined, spanked as, I don't think
if you don't mind me asking, how would he discipline you?
We had certain fasting as one biblical way where you can't eat for a certain amount of time. So fasting, different food restrictions. We couldn't really get grounded because we didn't go out anywhere anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
But just different. I talk about it in the book, certain things. Mostly he would sit us down and have talks for a long time. Whenever we do something bad, it was more sit here for an hour and listen to him talk to us and give us a lecture until we changed our beliefs and just told him what he wanted to hear. The older we got, the more we just realized, okay, the talks are going to be longer if we just don't tell him what he wants. He's never going to change. So we just went along with it and kind of had to live a different life away from when we weren't around my dad. We had to be a certain way when we were around him, and so then we just could be ourselves when he wasn't around. We just had to like form to what his image of us was.
So at that time, what was a kid doing something bad? Like what possibly could you do that was
disrespecting him, or a lot of the
like rolling your eyes or something?
Yeah, that would be a big one to him. He just
not sneaking out your window to go with the girl next door or something. I mean,
no, he didn't. You didn't have any friends. I mean, did you have friends? Like, I mean, how did that work?
We had another. We didn't have any friends really outside the group. We had another group. My dad met this couple, and they had 3 kids, and they joined our group.
And your dad was still the leader of these people too?
Yeah, and they went in, they had him and the other guy had a construction business together, and his wife helped run the businesses, but my dad made all the decisions and was he is a smart guy too. He all of the business, he incorporated them and made himself the CEO, and he secured all of his businesses very
this
well.
Fucking master plan, bro.
So J-Rock, some of these cults, it's have the leader has multiple wives and things like that.
That's
is that kind of what
he would have liked that. He couldn't fully get that down to an exact science, but he did. There were times he was definitely he'd been married 4 times. I think him and my mom got divorced. He had another fiance that didn't work, got remarried, and then him and my mom got back together. And during that time when they were back together, one of the other younger girls from the group, he was sleeping with her and telling her she was his soulmate and different things like that.
And that's part of the narcissistic mindset. And that stuff is still happening today.
Yeah.
Not in that realm so much, because now there's documentaries about it. Now people know.
Are more aware of it.
But there's still the narcissistic environment in some families where it's my way or the highway. If you're not obeying me or whatever, you're going to be punished in some way, shape, or form.
I thought Mexican dads were bad, bro.
No, I mean, I don't think there's any specific religion or specific ethnicity.
Okay, so did your dad grow up like this, man? Like, was this...
he grew up fairly normal. He just found God when in his 20s, and then kind of went from there. It grew, he was 26 and my mom was 32 when they met, and got married in 5 days.
Wow.
They met at church on a Sunday and got married on Friday, and then they kind of gave up everything that my mom had been working in the banking industry for like 10 years. And of course her family thought this was crazy. She met a guy, married him in 5 days, and then quit her job and went to travel the country with him. They traveled just living by faith, driving all over the country. My older sister was born in Kansas City, Missouri. I was born in Oregon. 2 sisters born in Montana. And then finally, they came back to Texas and settled in the Wimberley areas where I grew up, partly Wimberley, San Marcos, Martindale, surrounding areas here.
So, you and your sisters, how's y'all's relationship?
It's good.
Okay.
We all, we're closer than most families, but I mean, we're all pretty functioning members of society. My older sister Rachel, she still lives out at the ranch where we had my dad moved to Thailand. My dad lives in Thailand now, so
do you
he's
see
kinda
him? Do
out
you
of
still
the
talk
picture.
to him?
No, not really.
Do you care to?
Not really. No,
Okay.
I talked to him more for him, years ago. He lived in Hawaii for a little bit. And I went to see him. I think the last time I saw him was in 2013, but he's just never going to change. And so, it's...
You think he's got a cold up there, bro?
He could. He said, he liked Thailand because people in other countries are more open to his teachings, and he's evolved. He's a little bit more new agey now, but still the same. He wears like Buddhist shirts or type stuff. He's over there, and
Sorry,
Thailand is a little bit more.
That's crazy, man.
It's a little bit different.
There's a story I got. Go ahead, Johnny.
Do you think he really believes this stuff?
Yeah, he does. He believes everything to I think he did the best he could. He thought he was doing good for us, and I do see that. But yeah, he believes everything 100%, no matter whatever happened. My sister Rachel ran away when she was 16 and hitchhiked to Houston, and nothing has ever changed him. He blames it on other people, and
because he knows this stuff's illegal.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's kind of like kidnapping in a way.
Yeah.
Where you're isolating
Keeping
people, you're
away
keeping
from
people
making their own
and making them
choices.
do
Yeah.
things against their will.
Well, so, I mean, it was crazy. Certain people who joined our group, like we were kids and we couldn't like get out of it. We were had no birth, we had no options. But people give up their whole lives, like sell everything and move in and devote themselves to my dad and did whatever he said. So like that was their own free will. But I realized lots of people have unhealthy coping mechanisms or trauma that's happened in their lives, and they're searching for somebody to make decisions for them. And so and fear, he uses fear to control a lot of people. By one of the girls who's still with him today, she went into a diabetic coma when we were kids, and when she came out of it, she survived. My dad told her that it was because she rebelled against him, and so then she never
being
really
punished.
rebelled against him after that,
Right.
because she thought she would die. And so he used fear to control people in that sense.
He was very influential, influential man, and used
Yeah.
that influence
Yeah.
to his advantage.
Yeah, and it's something that I've always been aware of. Like, I never wanted to be like him. I tried to go as far in the opposite direction as I could, and the more I've like grown up, I didn't want to be like him. So I've been very conscious in making sure that I use my influence in a good way,
Right.
and not like he did.
Yeah. Do you catch yourself doing anything that you may have learned from him? Like that today, like you're like, damn it, I hate that I do this. I'll drink a Bud Light and I blame my dad. I'm joking.
Not
Because
really.
your dad influenced you to drink Bud Light.
Right? Yeah, I saw it growing up, by the way. Dad in Milwaukee's best. No, but go ahead.
I consciously, I think even before I moved out, I waited till I was 18 to leave. But I was aware enough I was like, okay, some kids have it worse than this. Some kids get beat, they have like all kinds of, it could be worse. And so the one thing that I wanted to be normal. And I was like, well, most normal kids have to stay till they're 18. So I was like, I'm going to consciously choose to take the good and leave the bad. And so like, I was like, my work ethic that I got from him, he did have, he knew a lot of things. I know how to do a lot of things, construction. Like I have a lot of good life skills and common sense that I learned from him. So I consciously said, okay, I'm gonna leave the bad and take the good with me. And so over the years, I've been, especially over the last 6 years, changing my life. I've been conscious to work on any negative behaviors that I've had and try and reframe them, or even reframe the beliefs that I had about, because the way I was raised, I couldn't do these certain things. And then I've realized like the normal life isn't always the best. So it's like, because of the way I was raised, I didn't get a lot of the normal societal standards that were pushed on a lot of people going through school, dealing with bullying. Like, there are good things that came from me not being raised like a normal kid. So I just try and be consciously aware of that.
Man, I hope I don't sound bad by saying this. Now, in some ways, it kind of makes sense the way your name is pronounced now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that's hopefully I'm not saying this the wrong way, but like I feel like since your name is what it is, to a person like myself, I went through public school, bullying. I'm thinking in my head when I heard your name at the beginning, I'm like, this kid got bullied, man. Like his name. Like going through the process of what I've gone through, but that's not even in your damn brain.
Kids are
not
mean.
even-
Kids
yeah.
are mean, man.
Kids are little shits, bro.
That's what I hear, and I've been grateful when I hear about people's experiences going through high school and getting picked on. I was like, okay, I'm grateful that I didn't have to go through that part.
That is, bro. You freaking blew my mind today. So I got one more question.
Yeah.
How old were you when you knew that this isn't right?
Probably, 10, 11, 12. Well, my dad, when he got divorced the first time and then he started dating another girl, we kind of got to see an outside life. And then that didn't work out. And so he remarried a girl, and she had 3 kids. And so I had 2 stepsisters and a stepbrother. So I kind of got to see some of the outside world at that point.
Did you learn a lot from them too?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, probably not good things because, again, they were in society. But, like, did you learn, like, I don't know,
I mean,
a certain cartoon, like a show?
The stepsister, she loved NSYNC and Justin Timberlake poster, and she would kiss it every night, which I hadn't. That was like, we weren't allowed to do anything like that or like listen to music. So, saw stuff that I wouldn't normally be aware of. But yeah, it was probably after 10, 11, 12 when you start developing a mind of your own. As soon as you start, thinking, okay, who am I? What am I going to do in life? Like having those bigger picture questions. That's when we started having more strife. My dad started trying to have more of a hold on us because he realized, that we were growing our own personalities and our own beliefs. And even one time, we told him we didn't believe him, and he just sat there and talked to us until it was just easier to tell him what he wanted to hear.
Jeez, man, that's crazy.
So that's definitely an inspirational story. How you
it is, man.
You broke free from the circle, because people are influenced.
Yeah,
easily.
And I don't know if the other people that were involved in that cult continue the circle and continue that mindset, but you've broke free of it, and now you are pivoting in a completely different direction. You're doing a complete 180, and now you're helping people in a positive way. You're providing value, all these different things, man. So my hat goes off to you and your ability to just break free and do your own thing, man.
Yeah, and that was like, this is the first time, I've really talked about this open publicly. I used to not talk about it at all, but it was like, I realized I can help more people by talking about my story and talking about my struggles and the things that I've been through to get to where I'm at. Because for me, the certain level of success seemed so far out of reach when I was like getting out of that. And then when I was working in manufacturing, I like saw these people doing big things, and I was like, I didn't think I could do it. But then hearing people, like listening to podcasts, hearing their stories of the struggles that they went through to get to where they were at, I was like, okay, then I see a purpose in talking more openly about the things that I've gone through and the struggles that I've had, so that I can, make it, I believe it makes it more believable and achievable for you to do something when you know somebody who's done it, or you have that role model there who's doing what you want to be doing, and realize that, hey, it's possible. And so that's kind of the reason I'm talking about it more now.
When you said homeschool, man, I have a lot. The past, I think it's been 8 years now that I've been coaching. I've ran into a lot more homeschool kids, and you can see their demeanors are different. Their reactions are different. There's a lot of different things that come from a homeschool child. You know what I mean? And I'll be real with you, man. If I could go back and make a path, I would love to have been homeschooled in ways. You know what I mean? Because it teaches you a lot.
Yeah, you get a lot more life lessons, and even you get a more one-to-one attention too, because from what I understand in public schools, you have so many students with one teacher, and you just don't get that same attention. And so
popularity contest at the end of the day.
And you're just being taught to memorize things and pass tests, from what I understand. So I did take my GED when I turned 18, and I passed above average with only having a 7th grade homeschool education. Like, I passed above average on the GED. So that said something to me like, okay, what I learned being homeschooled and the life lessons, like, was more than most people learned, in school, in public schools.
Dang,
so your
crazy.
Upbringing could have been a benefit for you today as as a public speaker and motivational coach and all that that stuff.
To sound but to hear like who you are, to hear who you are today first, and then to hear that, bro, like you just inspired me, man. Like to hear how you didn't have all these things, like all the things that you say that you're doing today, man. Like, are you kidding me? To be able to come out and do all that stuff, going through what you went through, man.
Things we take for granted.
Hell yeah, man. Exactly.
Growing up.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's crazy, man. I appreciate you also sharing that, bro, because that's I'm glad Johnny asked too how far you went, because that's something really hard to talk about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us out here that have these like child traumas, My family did good to me, but there was things that I saw from other people that like freaked me the hell out. You know what I mean? And so to imagine, you know, just maybe the things you've gone through or things like that, or whatever somebody else has gone through, you're gonna inspire them too, man. So appreciate you opening up about
So
that.
I want to add something else to your resume. Courageous. All right, because it takes a lot of courage to talk about things like that. Because not just anybody can come out. A lot of people, like you said, I wasn't even sure if I should say anything like that. But you're speaking it. And people today are afraid to talk about their weaknesses and their fears, and
vulnerable.
especially men. Men's mental health
Yeah.
is such a concern today. Big shout out to River City Advocacy here in New Braunfels. They do a phenomenal job of counseling and setting men and women and children at ease in their mindset, because mental health today is so crucial, and it can make or break you in your decision making throughout your entire life.
Yeah.
And not only your decision making affects others.
Yeah, it does.
And there's a domino effect with everybody's decisions. Some are small, some are large. But River City Advocacy here in New Braunfels does a phenomenal job. Big shout out to those guys. So how do you wind down after a long day? Because you're highly charged. You got all these things. To me, you're constantly thinking about the next move. You're constantly thinking about improvement. At some point, your mind gets boggled down, and it's just mush after a while. So how does Yitzchak, or knock Yitzchak, wind down at the end of the day?
So I feel fortunate that I've listened to a lot of successful people and known people who have got burnt out, or, you know, had that burnout. And so I've been conscious of it, not to overload myself. And if I do feel myself start being overloaded, I'll, you know, see where I can cut something out, or if something isn't aligning with my overall vision and mission, then I'm like, all right, I can remove that from the equation. Honestly, like the things that I do every day, though, the exercise, the reading books, listening to podcasts, like those things help me like stay focused, and they help me get the most out of my days, where like at the end of the day, you know, occasionally I'll watch some TV or something, or spend time with my mom. Like my mom lives with me, and that's like a big part of what I do. I want to be able to take care of my mom fully, and so like I have coffee with her in the mornings, and that's kind of just like my time to like, you know, talk to her about her day, what's going on there. Having my like friends and family, I like to go see some live music, or, you know, I have a house where now my family can come over. I've got nieces and nephews, so like seeing them, and sometimes I've had to work to be more playful in my life because my childhood was such not really a childhood. I've worked to like, you know, just like if the kids are over and it's in the middle of my work day, my mom takes care of them. Like I'll just like go hang out with them in the backyard, or take a few minutes to go like de-stress and just be like a kid. You know,
That's
they have
awesome.
so little stresses in life. And so I mean, ultimately I just try and be aware of when I feel overloaded. Okay, I gotta take some time, step back, relax. But it's I think everything that I do on a daily basis helps me not get that stress out, where I don't need to feel like I need to unwind. I feel pretty level throughout my days, but I attribute it to a lot of the daily practices that I have.
You sound like you're in control, man, and I love that. Like control, like a lot of what you're thinking and what you're allowing in your life.
I like to use the word curate. Like I work on curating the direction that I want to go, and but also realizing that life is crazy, and there's going to be things thrown in there that you have no control over, and having the flexibility to adapt with them when those things happen. It's just like, okay, this happened. All right, what are we going to do now? How are we going to pivot? I try not to let it, you know, you can't control those things, but you can control the way you react to them. And so like I've worked a lot on gratitude and different things that help me be grateful for the small things. Like I realize, like, you know, I have 2 vehicles, I have a house, I'm living somebody else's dream. You know, these were things that I used to dream about that I have now. So being grateful for those things. And then like I had a vehicle that broke down on me a few months ago. I ended up buying a new one because I wanted to take that stress off of me. But like I broke down going into Greenleaf or Green Coffee House parking lot, and I was like immediately grateful that I broke down in a parking lot instead of on the side of the road.
Yeah,
And then the
that's
person that I was
awesome.
meeting there, they were able to give me a ride back to my house, so I was grateful for that.
yeah.
And then I had free towing on my insurance, so I was grateful for that. And then my brother-in-law is a mechanic, so he was going to look at the car, and so I was
There you
grateful
go.
for that. Something that could have derailed my whole day, or like, you know, just ruined my day, I immediately went to gratitude, or thinking, you know, but that was from like working on that for the last several years. And it's not always going to work, but I know that if I think about, you know, how Tony Robbins has a saying, life happens for you, not to you. And so really, okay, how can I see this as a benefit to me? How can I see this as a benefit to those around me? What can I learn from this in order to help, or like have some good come out of it? So I've just worked on that a lot over the last couple of years.
I've been working with, shout out to Beyond Performance with Amral and Rachel Atesh.
Yeah.
So shout out to them, because they've opened up my brain this past week, and they've been coaching me up. And this kind of just, and I'll cut this if I have to, but do you feel going through what you went through and your mom getting you out of that situation, that you talk about how you want to take care of your mom? Is that something that's like that sits there like, man, she got us out of this thing and like changed our lives, so like I want to make sure I'm there? Or is that just a natural feeling to be there for mom?
There's part of that. You know, she put up a lot with my dad, and, you know, she helped us get out, and, you know, but it was more so just the older I got, the more important family became to me. And like thinking, you know, I didn't know my mom as the person that she is, and I wanted to get to know her as me as an adult, and her, and we still lived close together. Like when I lived in San Marcos, like she lived a couple blocks away from me, but it was just like, my sisters have a closer relationship, you know, they talk a lot more. And so I was like, how can I make it to where I get to know my mom for the rest of the time that she's here, and be able to like take care of her? And so like her living with me is just one of the way to minimize that friction of like, okay, I got to go see her. It was like, well, if I'm around her, I get to know her and who she is as a person, and take care of her. Like I got to take her on a trip to Playa del Carmen this year, just a vacation, me and her for 5 days. And she hadn't been on a vacation in years. And the goal is next year to take her to Greece. And so like creating memories and experiences with the ones we love is what's more important to me now.
That's awesome, man. Well, man, your stories, it hit me pretty hard today, man. That's awesome, brother. Like to hear everything that you've gone through and who you are today, and how is your book have a lot? Does this have a lot in your book? Yeah,
so the book's gonna talk about all of this, and then the part we haven't really touched on is like, you know, coming out of that cult and going into the normal life, got into partying a lot, you know, and got into drinking and drugs, and got arrested 3 times, and you know,
see, that's where my brain goes. Like, how did you come out of this? What were those battles that you fight, man? You know, I mean, some kids go like, I mean, my friends were smoking weed and drinking when we were 16.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and we would party. It was what you did.
Yeah.
We're in a football town. All the football players got together after every game, and we went to our buddy's house. We partied on. You know what I mean? Like, how did you know things like that? Like, that goes to my brain, man, because I went through that, and somebody that didn't, and hearing a cold thing, because I see all this stuff too. Like, you know, I never gotten too deep in it because it freaks me out, man.
Yeah,
you need to watch it.
It really freaks me out to know that you can brainwash somebody like that.
Yeah.
Like, I know WWE brainwashes me as a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
But to know that you're dealing with somebody's life like that, man, that's some crazy shit to me. So.
Narcissism.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
So as you got out, you were like, this is what life's supposed to be about. Smoking weed, drinking, women. Women. I mean, because it was fun.
The women was the first thing for me.
Right. Really?
You know, just like I got into... That was my number one focus. I think in the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, he talks about how most men aren't successful till later in life because they spend so much of their early years like chasing women and their energy focused on that. And that was definitely me.
So I'm not
that
behind.
that was like the first thing that I did. And then I kind of, I got into smoking weed, and I was selling weed, and it was like me being entrepreneurial. I was like, why would I'm
making money.
Yeah, I'm gonna smoke for free and sell, and then lots of people were around. So looking back on it now, it was me wanting to fit in with people, and so I was the one who had the product, and so everybody came to me. And then I got arrested at 19 for possession of marijuana, and I quit selling, and then all these people dropped off. I didn't see people anymore. And then, going into 21, started drinking more. I grew up, we was in a college town, so that's just what it was, drinking. And then, other things came into that. I went to raves and different stuff, just trying everything that I had never been allowed to try. And, got myself into trouble and got myself in the wrong groups, and at the time you couldn't have told me that they were the wrong people. I'm like, no, these are my friends. They care about me. But, after I stopped doing those things, they all fall off. I had to, and realizing I had to cut off relationships with people. You have to remove yourself from those environments because you can't try and stop doing something and everybody around you is doing it and it's just the normal thing, and you keep going back and hanging around them, you're gonna cave in. So it was like, okay, if I want to change my life and I want to not do this anymore, I have to let relationships go. I have to let people go. There's a time and a season. We'd have these drunken conversations, and then it wasn't, we wouldn't remember, sometimes in the morning, or you have these heart to heart drunken conversations, and then those people aren't there for me the next day. I couldn't call them up and ask them to help me out with something. It was just drinking buddies is what it was.
Right. Did you ever think man, the way your dad raised y'all after going through all that shit, you're just like, man, maybe he was right? In ways?
In certain ways, but it was I had to go through it all to learn it for myself. Otherwise, I would never know the difference. That's I don't regret anything that has happened, the mistakes that I've made, because I wouldn't have the knowledge that I have now, and I wouldn't have, there was a time when I was more hypocritical, I would say, where I would judge somebody for doing that thing, and then I would end up going and doing it, and I was like, oh man, I fucked up. I judged that person for doing it, and then I went and did it. And so I have more compassion now for people going through those things, because I've been through it, and I know firsthand how hard it can be to change your life, or stop drinking, or stop doing drugs, or stop hanging out with people that you think are your friends. So I wouldn't have the same compassion, and I wouldn't have the same experience to help others if I hadn't gone through it myself.
My man, you're a true success story.
He sure is, man.
Add that to your resume.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, man.
Success story, and you're also going to be a successful author. I'm manifesting that. People are gonna not only see this podcast, but they want to know your story. Your book tells it all, and we can't wait to put that on our platform and support you 100%. And we're glad we had you on, man. We're just scratching the surface on your story. All right, this is just a little snapshot of what you got going on.
Yeah, people out there, man, this is exactly why I got into podcasting now. I've seen, we saw each other last Friday, knock, and I seen you around. After I seen you, this is probably social media itself. I seen you, and then I saw a video popped up on my social media that you're doing pickleball or something. You were at a pickleball place. And Johnny told me we had you on, and I'm like, man, all right, cool, see what's going on. But again, overall, this is why we do this, guys, because we want to hear your story. We want to hear what people go through and how they've, created this life for themselves, and it inspires other people, man. And again, just like the Gary Vee story, I'm sure you've heard his story, first time I heard his story, I was like, damn, this guy can work hard. Yeah. Maybe I can do the same thing, blah, 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 And that's what I hope somebody finds out of your story, man, is to gain some type of confidence to do the things that you've done and hear your story and do things like that, man. So I'll buy your book, man. I definitely will. I want to read your book, man. That's
and I'm sure a lot of other people are going to read your book as well.
Yeah.
So, my friend, you're on your way. Started from the bottom now. We are here on the Social Plug podcast. J-Rock, do you have anything else for this man?
No, man. Like I said, I appreciate you opening up today, man. It takes a lot to do that.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I know how it is to kind of just let that all out sometimes too. But yeah, man, I hope nothing but success with everything else that you do, buddy. Yeah.
Today's episode was sponsored by Yitzchak Pierson. Yitzchak is a dedicated professional with a profound passion for helping individuals recognize their untapped potential and evolve into the best versions of themselves. As a successful realtor and high-performance coach based in New Braunfels, Texas, he brings his unwavering commitment to a personal growth and development into his personal life and his belief that a business's growth is intricately linked to the personal growth of its leader, and it drives him to continuously work on self-improvement. His family, including his mom, sisters, nephews, and nieces, provide him with unwavering inspiration and fulfillment in his entire life and beyond. Beyond his professional pursuits, he enjoys activities such as learning, reading, jogging, weightlifting, hiking, and exploring new destinations through travel. He loves to travel. With a deep understanding of the connection between personal growth and business success, he strives to guide and support others in reaching their highest potential, both personally and professionally. He's an author, he's an educator, he's a certified coach, he's a mindset guy. He can definitely change your mindset, and he's a game changer, ladies and gentlemen. Yitzchak Pierson. You can find him at yitzchakpierson.com.
For sure. So
Yitzchak, thanks for coming on the show, man. Besides here on the podcast, where else can we find you?
On social media, you can just Google my name, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, all of those. I can put all the links in, give them to you for the podcast.
Okay. So you're all over the place, man.
Yep,
we love it.
Yeah.
What I love is you have these little inspirational and motivational videos, and they're educational that shows different places around town that provide value. So you provide value to all of us as well, man. So thank you guys for watching. You can find us on socialplugmedia.net. You can find us on nearly every social media platform. We love doing these podcasts. We love talking about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. J-Rock, great show today.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for your inspiration. Yes, thanks for your kind words to Yitzchak. Thanks for your questions, my man.
Thank you.
I'm loving it, man. Love doing this and love getting deep with our conversations if we can. So.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. You are now unplugged from the Social Plug Podcast, where we connect you to level up, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Ow! Yeah. Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids, and for their kids, it's kids. That's wealth, years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire.